This man unexpectedly received counterfeit money from an elderly grandmother who wished to buy some fresh fruits. Surprisingly, the owner mentioned that it was enough for more than one. Happily, the elderly woman couldn't contain her excitement. The owner returned with a bag full of fruits and handed them to her, making her happy. She started leaving, but he was confused while looking at the paper. Suddenly, the nearby vendor mockingly reminded him that he was running his business the wrong way and that it might cause him trouble in the future. But he simply replied that she might be hungry. The vendor scoffed and said, "Do whatever you like." Surprisingly, a man bought a whole week's worth of groceries, but unfortunately, his phone died and he couldn't pay. He politely asked if he could pay later that evening, as he was in a hurry for work. To his surprise, the owner agreed and gave him the groceries so he could reach his job on time. However, the nearby vendor looked furious. Later, a lady came and bought some fruits, which he handed to her, mentioning that they were fresh. She gave him the money, which he accepted, but sadly, when he opened his wallet, he realized he didn't have enough change. He asked the nearby vendor if he had any, but it turned out he didn't. Reluctantly, he then asked the customer if she had any way to pay online, but she had forgotten her phone. Once again, he kindly told her she could take the fruits now and pay later when she had change. But the nearby vendor scoffed, warning him that if he kept this up, he would fall behind. Smiling, the owner simply said, "These little moments make me happy." However, the vendor argued that if he kept giving away goods so freely, it would hurt the reputation of both his shop and the entire marketplace. As time passed, he patiently waited for his customer to return with the money, but sadly, as night approached, no one came back. From afar, the other vendor watched, realizing how pitiful his situation was. He finally told the man that it was time to close his shop, warning that staying out in the cold could affect his health. Realizing he might be right, the owner reluctantly began closing up. But just then, to his surprise, a man approached and showed his card. It turned out he was the manager of a successful company. He asked the owner if he had seen an elderly woman using a specific type of money. The owner recalled that a grandma had used it earlier in the morning when she bought fruits. The man then revealed that she was his mother and that she had Alzheimer's. Apologizing for the trouble she had caused, he explained that his assistant usually bought fruits from this store, as his mother loved them. But unfortunately, since the assistant was off that day, she had come in person. He then handed the owner cash to pay for the fruits she had taken. But surprisingly, the manager revealed that his restaurant needed a large supply of fruits for a newly opened branch. Impressed by the owner's kindness and honesty, he offered him a deal. The owner was stunned but gladly accepted the offer. However, another vendor quickly questioned him, asking what would happen to the other customers he had given free goods to. Smiling, the owner simply replied that he was satisfied with the reward he had received and that good people still existed in this world. To their surprise, a lady suddenly appeared from behind. She reminded the owner that she had taken fruits last week but couldn't pay at the time because her phone was dead. Surprisingly, even though the owner had completely forgotten about her, she had come back after finishing her work early to pay before his shop closed. The other vendor stood there in shock, but what truly makes me pause and reflect is how easy it would have been to turn the grandma away without giving her anything. Yet, everyone has their own struggles, and we never truly know what someone is going through sometimes. Even the smallest act of kindness can make the world a better place.